Go mute.
Hey guys, welcome to the call. I'm excited. I had the privilege yesterday of teaching Life Vantage Academy, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And there's several people that were on here yesterday. Victor was on there. Jana and Jose were on there. Tracy was on there. It was guys, I'm still getting feedback from people about it. There was we found out that there was close to there was places I didn't know. There was one place that had like 7 people in the house, and so it was awesome. There was close to 100 people on, and it was awesome. I say this all the time when I'm out teaching in the field, and obviously it's different when you're on Zoom, but I think that, like I told Lisa, and I said this today, guys, we've been watching this series called The Chosen. It's about the life of Jesus, and it's just awesome. You guys watched it? Oh, you guys have been watching it too. Some people have been watching it too. And it's really awesome. And you know what I realized a lot of stuff started coming back of things that my grandmother spoke over me and into my life, right? Just constantly speaking encouragement and positive. And actually Mike and I talk about this all the time, that, you know, we have to protect and just like this, not everybody's going to like you, right? Not everybody's going to like you. You're going to think that you're protecting somebody, and they're not going to think that, and then things are going to change, right? And you have a small piece of friends that you can really rely on, right? That you can really rely on. And Lisa and I spent so much time this weekend, and even tonight before that, you know, I just want to say this: texting without voice communication is the worst form of communication ever, right? Mike, how often do we talk about this? All the time. I can say something to you and you take it totally different, and then we're not friends anymore. And I've experienced this more. Sherry's laughing because she knows it's the absolute truth. It is the absolute truth. Like somebody that I'm 100% love what she stands for, love what she does, support her, do things for her. And I wanted to protect her because she was saying some things and other people were saying different things. And then it just turned around on me. So I just want to encourage you guys tonight. If you want to learn, hey, Therese, if you want to learn to communicate better, do not text, okay? Verbally talk to people or leave voice messages. Here's what one of my favorite counselors taught me about. She said, there's no pause for emphasis. There's no emotion. The person doesn't take it the same way that you present it, right? And guess what? People are people, you know. I began to pray for this recently. I began to pray that God would protect me and Lisa and bring the right people in and take the other people that don't need to be in our life out. Because we've spent so much time around people that we've tried to help, and it has not went well. Okay, it has not went well, and you guys know that. And I see so many people shaking their head because a lot of us have been in that season. We're in that season. Like, and if you're an entrepreneur and you're a business owner or you have employees, it sometimes cannot be fun, right? But yesterday, teaching people that you know and people that you don't know and people that you have relationships with was super fun. Because in life, and I thought about this as I was watching that, and I don't say this to offend anybody. I know Mike knows me really well. I just say what it is, and he loves me for who I am, and I love him for who he is. And I believe that we have great relationships with people because we have respect for each other, you know? And in the Bible, the most important thing that Lisa and I talk about is that love and respect cycle. It can either be a healthy cycle or a vicious cycle, right? And so yesterday when we were done, I started to, and I was hungry after 4 hours of teaching, right? And Lisa's like, let's just go get something, right? And so we're talking, and all of these messages were coming in from different people. And if you have, you know, on your iPhone, there's that little thing over on the side on the messages that says, honey, can you help Jane Sorelli? She needs help getting on, I think.
Not Jane, Dee Dee.
Oh, okay.
Trying to call in,
And of course, on the phone number, it's still asking for a password.
Okay.
But
So a couple of people are trying to get in, and so Lisa's trying to help them.
what's the phone number password? So I'm trying to look it up.
It's here. Here, it's on my phone. You can look it
You
up.
know the phone number password?
No, it shouldn't be one. Same one.
It's asking for a phone number.
I have no idea. Sorry, guys. I appreciate that. So there's a couple. Oh, she's in. Dee Dee's in. She said. Okay. So here's what I wanted to encourage you guys about is that you are definitely the sum of the people that you keep in your environment. Tracy and I were talking about this on the way home tonight. Okay. We have to it's just like I'll just say this, and I'm going to have them speak in a minute. If I want to learn martial arts, okay, I'm not going to go to the guy who just opened a store down the road down here, who's maybe only been doing it. I know some people that got like 5 and 6 black belts, like, and so for me, if I want to learn something that I don't know anything about, I want something that's duplicatable and something that I feel like I can do. And yesterday, I asked a bunch of questions as we went through the training. Like, one of the things I would say that most people sent me back messages was they learned that they need to ask more questions, right? One of the things, and Therese and I have had conversations about this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter how you start. It's how you finish. Okay. And I'm just going to say this. Maybe my golf clubs are for sale again today. Okay. And I'll just say that I was 2 under through 9 holes, and then I got to even par, and then I got a 9 on the last hole. How many of you want to get a 9 on the last hole? And you know what I said to myself? Well, I guess doesn't matter how you start. Only matters how you finish, right? Got a 9 on the last hole. So those of you that play golf, it was a par 5, so I was 4 over on the last hole. And I still shot 80, So, I was like, wow. And Lisa's like, you need to make sure that, you just are happy with that 80, right? And you know what I realized? I want to encourage you guys on this. And maybe this is you. And this is the counselor coming out of me. This is what my wife said to me. She's so smart. She said, do you realize that you're doing exactly what your father did to you while you were growing up? And I was like, yeah. Because nothing I did was ever good enough. I would go 9 for 10 in the from the field in the basketball game. And what do you think he would point out? The one shot that I missed. I would have 17 tackles in a football game. All right. And the one thing that he picked out is when I sacked the quarterback and the ball flew up in the air and my buddy grabbed it and ran it back for a touchdown. And he said, why didn't you grab it and run it back for a touchdown? Why didn't you get up off of him? I said, Dad, I knocked his helmet off. He fumbled the ball and my teammate picked it up and ran it back for a touchdown. So listen to what I'm saying tonight, because this is so important to all of you. If you've been given an opportunity that you've been entrusted with something, whether it's a marriage or whether it's your business or whatever, you are the sum of the people that you allow to speak into your life. All right. And I've screwed up in this business. You can ask Jose and Janet when they were here. I said, look, I've done this all wrong, but guess what? I figured it out. Right. I figured out how I can this week, I said this on the text. I signed up about 6 customers and 2 distributors. Why? Because I figured out that the way I was doing it before worked, but it wasn't working the way I wanted it to work. It wasn't doing things the way I wanted to do. And I still have customers that I've had for 8 and 9 years. That never happened when I was in my brick and mortar nutrition business. If I had a customer, I had clients for 10 and 12 and 15 years, but people are fidgety. People want, I just signed, this is a great story, and I'm going to introduce him to you guys in a couple of weeks. He's going to be on the call. He couldn't be on tonight, but my spiritual father, who married my wife and I, was the first person to ever tell me about Protandim. He said, hey, I want you to look up this NRF2 activator. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, you know everything. And I said, I don't know about that. And he said, well, will you look for it and get back to me? And guess what I said? Sure. All right. And guess what? I didn't. And then that series of Daniel Bernard calling me every week. And when I was watching the video and we got done, I looked at Lisa and I said, oh, that's exactly what Dr. Langley wanted me to look up. Okay. And I'm laughing. And then we're joining and I'm like, oh God, I got to call him and tell him that I joined and I didn't do the research and I didn't get back in touch with him. Okay. So here's what's really cool. So he still comes, I'm still his go-to guy for all his nutrition and everything. And he comes and surprises us last week to visit us. And he says, okay, here's all the list of products I'm taking. I want you to educate me on other stuff that LifeVantage has and what I can get rid of. And so we just went down through it, right? And he said, by the way, I've been ordering retail for 9+ years. Look at everybody's face on this call right now. You guys could, I wish I could have had it on gallery view so y'all could see the look on everybody's face. 9 years. Okay. And he said, I think I want to do this business, but I want to do it with you and Lisa. So the other night, Lisa signed him up in the business and he went from just a $40 bottle of Protandim for him and his wife to using more products, to having a 200 PV. So guess what? He has ministry campuses in about 90% of the countries that LifeVantage is in. Okay. I never shared any of this with him other than educated him that I knew about Protandim after he asked me, right? And now he knows about Nerve 2. He knows about Axio. He knows about the gut. He was taking a cheap old probiotic that I showed him a list of things that had research on it, was getting about 15% into the digestive tract. And he was paying like $25 for it. I said, this is what I said to him. And I want you guys to write this down. You always ask questions to people when they tell you what they're taking. Okay. And here's a question that you can always ask them. Do you believe you get what you pay for? Remember that. Do you believe you get what you pay for? So I'm going to put this as a gallery view, and I want to see how many of you actually believe that you get what you pay for. Raise your hand. Do you believe you get what you pay for? Absolutely. Julia, you believe you get what you pay for, right? So here's what I wanted to share with you guys is the reason I believe that is because I started going down through and looking at some of his products and they were $10, $15. And he was taking ingredients inside Protandim, extra ingredients. How many of you know that messes up the formula? Okay. And he's like, you mean I could have got better results all these years? And I said, yeah, you could have. And I sent him a video that Dr. Deborah Vigidone does where she teaches people how to actually take the products right. And you know what? You remember this scenario, and then I'm going to bring some of my guests on. Remember this scenario, okay? Do our products work even if we don't take them exactly right? Yes, because they tap into systems, right? But I used this with everybody on the call on yesterday. I could use a BlackBerry if I could find one. It would still work, right? How many of you have ever used a BlackBerry? I used to have one. Mike had one too. Okay. So, but guess what? We don't have to. My wife saw some really cool pictures I took with my new iPhone. Sorry for you Android friends of mine, Mike, Vic, Stacy, Tracy. Okay. So here's the thing. She goes, wow, that camera works really good, right? If you guys saw, I took some really funny pictures. My wife is probably the funniest person I know. She's taking moss off the trees today and using them like as a garment. Yeah, as like a boa, she says. Let me get my words correct. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let my friend Jana share some things with you guys right now. I'm going to make it speaker view so you guys can can see her. I made her do this yesterday, but I share a video during LifeVantage Academy. It's a video that I will share with you guys. If you've never seen it, and during my teaching that I use for LifeVantage Academy, and it's Jana in front of the camera, really nervous in front of the camera. and Lisa and I talked about this. How can somebody who has like a 4th degree black belt be scared in front of a camera? Like I'm afraid she's gonna kick my butt for talking like this, right? She has already said she's gonna kick my butt. But here's the cool thing, is that I got texts from people in the messages about understanding more about a lot of things that Jana said yesterday that makes people, and here's what I'm going to do. Because I can edit things out, I'm going to actually play her video and then play her testimony tomorrow and edit it out so she has it and so we can use it to inspire and encourage people, right? Because I think it's important. And I think that when you listen to what she's about to say, this will help you educate customers of yours to understand the power of taking something long-term and never stopping, okay? Because we didn't get like this overnight, okay? It's the reason why Dr. Langley said, I just think I could feel better. And I'm like, well, you're spending like $10 on a probiotic and $15 on this. And not that those things don't work, because the company he buys his products for are very, very good. But the biggest piece about that is that, again, it goes back to, we get what we pay for, right? We get what we pay for. It's the reason I said, people were asking me if they could chip in for the One Team training. And I said, sure, but you don't have to. I'm doing it for me because I feel like I want to be able to have a system that everybody can do, right? And now this is what we're seeing. People who have never done anything in this business are going through the One Team training. Now, look, we get it. There's 50 videos in there. There's a lot of information in there. But let me tell you something. If you eliminate distractions and you stop being on every call and you just tone in how many calls you're on and you don't let all these voices come into your thing. Victor knows we've talked about this over and over and over. Whenever I ask somebody this thing, I say, what is one thing you think that has been your downfall? And they all say the same thing. Too many chiefs or too many voices spanking, no, we should do this. No, let's do this. Oh, no, we need to do this, right? And it was really funny. I don't know if some of you guys were in Long Beach when Kendra Hall spoke about telling your story, okay? She has a course now. And who does she target? Every LifeVantage distributor. Why? Because she taught at LifeVantage and she put her thing up on the screen so she could get all of our emails, right? And now she has a course. All you got to do is read her book. Or you could come and listen to LifeVantage Academy like Tracy did yesterday and Victor did, okay? Guys, it was awesome. And so here's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to let Jana share her story and her testimony and what God's done for her previously. And then I want her to share a couple takeaways from yesterday, because her and Jose stayed on. Oh, were you afraid I was going to ask you that? You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Maybe Jose will. But you can just tell your story if that's all right. She's like, she's already given me one of these, right? Because you know what? Sometimes we take action on things that when we remember them, and I know this. She piped in during the call and said things that she remembered. And this is what's really cool. Dee Dee's on, and Dee Dee said to me, you know what I've done? You know what I've thought about since that training yesterday? My why and my what. My why and what I'm willing to do to get my why, right? Because I shared this, and then this last thing I was saying, I'm going to turn it over to her, is that a lot of people think they know what their why is, but they really don't. Because, that's great that you hear people say, oh, Victor, your why should make you cry. Or Therese, your why should make you cry. No, your why should make you understand your what, so that you know what to do to get your why. And if you do that, you put blinders on and you let nothing distract you. I will tell you this. Somebody asked me, well, why do you think your business is growing now like it is when you've been in for 9 years? I said, because I put blinders on and I eliminated confusion. I have a structure. When I wake up tomorrow, I have 3 podcast interviews. In the morning, I'm going to do follow-up, and I'm going to make videos for all of my posts for the weeks. I'm going to be massively intentional so that nobody can say, oh, Mike, you didn't do what you said you're going to do. No, I am going to do what I say I'm going to do. It's the same thing I tell all of you guys. Anybody can build this business, right? Anybody. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter your degrees. Somebody said to me, oh, Mike, it's easy for you. You're a health coach. No, because people don't want to listen to me. They think they know it all, right? How many times, Mike Weingarten, have you heard me say, people think they know it all. They're not going to listen to me. They'd probably listen to you before they'd listen to me, right? But if I give people value, then they're going to listen to me. It's why, Jose's able during the pandemic to have classes and courses and teachings to teach people what he would be teaching them if he was in person with them, right? So you shift. Something changes, you shift. You don't get paranoid and freak out and, oh God, I didn't get my, somebody said the other day, oh God, I didn't get my stimulus check. We didn't get ours yet either, right? So it's okay, right? And I'm not saying if any of you did that or you had to file for unemployment or whatever that is, I'm not criticizing any of you, okay? But you pivot and you use your why to make you figure out what you're willing to do to change your current situation so that you don't repeat those same behaviors. Dr. Langley said to me, he said, I just been watching you and Lisa. And you can ask Julia, he interviewed us on a podcast and it was phenomenal. Like it was great. I think I don't even know if Victor might have watched it, but I don't know who all watched it, but it was phenomenal, right? It was phenomenal. It was me and Lisa and Dr. Langley. And so he just asked us, what did you do different? And we just said, we just pivoted. We didn't look at our circumstance and say, oh, poor us. Like, I said, thank you, God, that I'm not in the brick and mortar fitness business anymore. That I didn't have to go to the gym to rely on 50 people seeing me every week to pay me a paycheck, because I would have been scrambling around. Heck, I would have went around my neighborhood and made people work out in the grass, right? Like, how many of you have seen trainers doing that at the park? They've got people 6 feet apart and they're still going and working out. But the 50 people they used to have is now down to 5 or 10. Okay. It just is what it is. Now I'm super excited because the gym is opening tomorrow and I'm going to go really super early in the morning and go to the gym and work out. But, and then also we get to go back to church next Sunday. So Victor and I were talking about that. He went to church with like 10 or 15 people, I think, today, which is funny. So I'm going to turn this time over to my friend that just took a great big sigh of relief. I'm going to turn this call over